Buried beneath 45 meters of the crushing Aegean Sea lies an artifact that fundamentally breaks the established chronological timeline of human engineering. The Antikythera Mechanism is not a mere maritime curiosity. It is, by every strict definition of the term, the world's first analog computer. Dating back over 2 millennia, the Antikythera Mechanism contains mathematical prime factorization physically cut into its microscopic bronze gears, a level of technology that supposedly did not exist in the ancient world. Yet modern forensic simulations conducted in 2025 have revealed a terrifying contradiction buried within its highly complex design. The brilliant minds who conceptualized and built this machine possessed an understanding of astronomical theory and mathematics that completely outpaced their metallurgical reality, creating a device that was mathematically perfect but physically destined to tear itself apart. We are going to look at the catastrophic friction data that exposes its fatal flaw and the 2024 discoveries that rewrite its origins. But before we dive into the mechanical destruction of this ancient computer, I have a question for you. Based on the sheer complexity of what you know so far, do you believe this device was a rugged, daily-use navigational tool for ancient sailors? Or a highly fragile status symbol built exclusively as an educational display for the elite? Let me know your choice in the comments below right now. To understand the sheer scale of this anomaly and the danger it presents to the standard historical narrative, we have to pull back the layers of history to the spring of 1901. The discovery was born from sheer desperation and the unforgiving, violent nature of the Mediterranean Sea. A crew of Greek sponge divers, led by Captain Dimitrios Kondos, were returning from the coast of North Africa when a severe, unexpected storm forced them to take shelter near the barren, rocky island of Antikythera. Waiting out the storm, they decided to dive the local waters, hoping to salvage the trip. What they found at a depth of 45 meters was not a bed of valuable sponges, but an underwater graveyard. Diver Elias Stadiotis was the first to surface, terrified and shaking, reporting a seabed covered in the rotting corpses of men and horses. What he had actually seen, his vision distorted by the deep water, the gloom, and the hallucinogenic effects of nitrogen narcosis, was a massive scattering of bronze and marble statues. They had stumbled upon one of the richest ancient shipwrecks ever discovered. For months, the divers hauled up monumental treasures, risking their lives in crude canvas diving suits and heavy brass helmets. Several divers were paralyzed by the bends, and one lost his life during the salvage operation. Among the massive hauls of pristine marble, exquisite glassware, and heavy silver coins was an unassuming, heavily encrusted lump of corroded bronze and wood. It was entirely ignored, left to sit in the open courtyard of the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, exposed to the elements. It wasn't until the bronze dried out and physically split open, revealing the faint, unmistakable outlines of precision-cut gear teeth, that historians realized the true danger this artifact posed to the established historical timeline. For over a century, the mechanism was viewed by mainstream academia as an isolated, unexplainable anomaly aboard a lone, unlucky merchant ship. It was a highly comfortable narrative. It allowed historians to treat the device as a one-off curiosity, a freak occurrence of a single genius, rather than proof of a systemic, highly advanced technological era that we somehow lost. However, deep water excavations in late June 2024 have entirely rewritten the context of its sinking and its ultimate purpose. Marine archaeologists, utilizing cutting-edge seabed mapping technology and autonomous submersibles, uncovered a massive deposit of pottery and a monumental marble head of Heracles, approximately 200 meters from the primary wreck site. This was a watershed moment in marine archaeology. It confirmed the existence of a second shipwreck dating to the exact same period, around 60 BC. The Antikythera Mechanism was not merely stray cargo on a random trading vessel. It was part of a highly guarded elite Roman convoy transporting extreme luxury goods, massive statues, and unimaginable wealth across the Mediterranean. The 2024 dive also successfully pinpointed the remnants of the original ship's wooden hull for the first time, giving us exact dimensions of the massive, heavy transport vessel that carried this computer to the bottom of the sea. This was a massive logistical operation, likely commissioned by an extraordinarily wealthy Roman aristocrat, perhaps even connected to the inner circle of Julius Caesar, moving the greatest technological and artistic achievements of the Hellenistic world back to Rome as spoils of war or extravagant purchases. The danger this device presents to the standard historical timeline cannot be overstated, and it forces us to reevaluate human capability. Academic history dictates that mechanical complexity of this magnitude, specifically the use of precision interlocking gear trains to compute complex variables and astronomical events, did not appear in human civilization until the development of astronomical clocks in 14th century Europe. The Antikythera mechanism predates these European clocks by over 1,500 years. It is the absolute equivalent of finding a fully functional internal combustion engine buried beneath the floorboards of a medieval castle. Originally housed in a tightly constructed wooden box roughly the size of a modern shoebox, measuring 34 centimeters by 18 centimeters, the device survives today as 82 highly fragile, heavily corroded bronze fragments. Yet within those fragmented green-crusted pieces, scientists have identified a highly complex system of at least 30 and potentially up to 72 interlocking gear wheels. The sheer miniaturization is staggering. The precision of the triangular teeth, cut manually into millimeter-thick bronze by ancient engineers, represents a level of mechanical micro-engineering that simply should not exist in the 1st century BC. To fully grasp the impossible engineering of the Antikythera mechanism, we must examine the recent forensic breakthroughs that have finally decoded its front and rear dials, utilizing technology that borders on science fiction. For decades, a fierce, entrenched debate raged within mainstream academia regarding the massive calendar ring on the front of the device. The prevailing accepted theory was that it tracked the 365-day Egyptian solar calendar, as it was the most common standard of the era. However, a groundbreaking 2024 study completely shattered this assumption. Researchers utilized advanced Bayesian analysis and, incredibly, statistical modeling techniques directly adapted from the LIGO Gravitational Wave Observatory, the exact same sophisticated technology used by astrophysicists to detect microscopic ripples in the fabric of spacetime caused by colliding black holes. They applied these ultra-precise models to analyze the minute spacing of the corroded, barely visible holes beneath the calendar ring. The results were absolute, highly verifiable, and undeniable. The ring did not contain 365 holes. It contained exactly 354. The machine flawlessly tracked the complex Greek lunar calendar. The level of micro-precision required for an ancient craftsman to manually punch these holes into a circular bronze plate with such flawless mathematical symmetry, ensuring absolute equal spacing without modern micrometers or optical measuring tools, is a feat that modern machinists struggle to comprehend, let alone replicate by hand. But the physical construction, as mind-bending as it is only half of the anomaly. The mathematics hardwired into the physical bronze gears represent a profound, advanced understanding of prime factorization and complex astronomical cycles. The back of the device featured two massive, highly detailed spiral dials. The upper dial was tasked with tracking the Metonic cycle. This is a crucial, incredibly specific astronomical period consisting of exactly 235 lunar months, which almost perfectly equals 19 solar years. It was absolutely vital for ancient astronomers to synchronize their lunar and solar calendars for agricultural and religious purposes. To model this physically, the Greek engineers needed to force the machine to output a highly specific, unbreakable gear ratio, 254 revolutions of the moon for every 19 years. A single gear with 254 teeth would have been massive, completely destroying the portable, shoebox scale of the device. Instead, these ancient engineers utilized an advanced understanding of compound gear trains and prime factorization. They realized that 254 could be factored into 2 times 127. They achieved the exact required ratio by interlocking a highly specific cascading sequence of gears with exactly 64, 38, 48, 24, 127, and 32 teeth. This wasn't just decorative metalwork. This was high-level abstract mathematical theory crystallized into physical bronze. The true smoking gun of its mechanical impossibility, however, lies in how the engineers modeled the flawed, asymmetrical nature of the cosmos itself. The ancient Greeks knew, through centuries of meticulous naked-eye observation, that the moon did not move across the sky at a constant speed. Due to its elliptical orbit, a concept that wouldn't be fully mathematically codified until Johannes Kepler established his laws of planetary motion in the 17th century. The moon appears to accelerate and decelerate from the perspective of an observer on Earth. The creators of the Antikythera mechanism did not just track the average location of the moon. They built a mechanical computer that successfully, dynamically modeled this orbital anomaly. They achieved this utilizing a brilliant, logic-defying system of 2 eccentric gears connected by a tiny, precision-cut pin and a slot. As the gears rotated, the pin would slide back and forth within the slot, generating a variable, shifting output velocity from a perfectly constant input rotation from the user's hand crank. It is a piece of mechanical genius that perfectly replicates the physics of orbital mechanics, rendered flawlessly in ancient bronze. And the creators did not expect the end user to figure this highly complex machine out on their own. The Antikythera mechanism was packaged with a comprehensive, highly detailed physical user manual. Using modern microfocus X-ray computed tomography, researchers have recently managed to peer inside the fused, corroded fragments, reading text that has not been seen by human eyes for 2 millennia. The internal plates and protective doors of the device are completely covered in explanatory Greek inscriptions. The letters are microscopic, standing just 1.2 millimeters high, requiring a magnifying lens just to engrave. The translated text acts as an elite astronomical guide, specifically referencing a golden little sphere used to dynamically display the sun, and another sphere designed to show the shifting, physical phases of the moon. The back plates even contain rigorous geographical calibrations, including explicit mentions of Spain and specific wind directions. This highly localized geographical data proves the device was actively used to calculate solar eclipses, events that are highly dependent on the observer's exact location on Earth. It was a masterclass in localized predictive astronomy. If you value this relentless pursuit of verified forensic truth, and if you want to uncover the hard data behind the world's most impossible artifacts without the fluff, make sure to subscribe to Ancient Chronicles HD right now. Our mission is to strip away the myth, avoid the fringe assumptions, and bring you the raw, unvarnished anomalies of our past. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a breakthrough as we reconstruct the true human timeline. Despite this breathtaking genius and undeniable sophistication, we must now confront the forbidden truth of the Antikythera mechanism, the terrifying contradiction uncovered by engineers in 2025. A comprehensive peer-reviewed study submitted by the engineering department at the National University of Mar del Plata stripped away the romanticism of the artifact and subjected its design to ruthless, modern mechanical analysis. They ran highly complex virtual simulations of the exact gear alignments, the specific tooth profiles, and the rotational forces applied when cranking the machine. The bombshell conclusion completely alters how we view this ancient technology. The device was highly prone to catastrophic jamming. The researchers discovered that the sheer mechanical friction generated by dozens of hand-cut bronze gears grinding against one another was immense. The ancient Greeks did not possess the advanced metallurgy, hardened steel, or refined lubrication systems required to sustain this extreme level of mechanical complexity. The simulations mathematically proved that the friction, combined with the inevitable, minute mechanical errors in the hand-cut triangular teeth, meant the entire gear train would bind up, disengage, or permanently lock after just a few months of simulated cranking. The soft bronze metal would physically degrade and destroy itself under the rotational stress of its own operation. This hard data forces us to completely reevaluate the artifact. It was not a rugged, reliable daily use tool for ship captains navigating the treacherous Mediterranean. It was a highly fragile, self-destructive masterpiece. It was likely an educational display piece, built exclusively for an ultra-wealthy elite, a machine that required constant maintenance, manual recalibration, and frequent repair by a master artisan. This is the ultimate, undeniable tragedy of the Antikythera Mechanism. It represents a brief, shining moment in human history where pure mathematical theory and astronomical genius completely outpaced the physical materials available to build it. The minds of these ancient engineers were operating in a future century, but their hands were trapped in the limitations of the Bronze and Iron Ages. They built a computer so advanced that it could predict the exact dates of solar eclipses decades in advance. Yet the physical reality of their era ensured that their greatest creation would inevitably destroy itself through its own internal friction. It leaves us with a haunting, unanswerable question. If this technology had not been lost to the bottom of the sea in a Roman shipwreck, if this civilization had discovered hardened steel just a few centuries earlier, how drastically would the timeline of human advancement have been altered? The loss of the Antikythera Mechanism in the 1st century BC represents a devastating technological reset, burying the concept of analog computing for over a millennium. But it is not the only time human civilization has faced a sudden, catastrophic deletion of knowledge and progress. To understand how entire empires possessing advanced systems of trade, writing, and monumental architecture can vanish almost overnight, leaving nothing but ruins, you need to look at the violent systemic collapse that erased the ancient world. Click the video on your screen right now to uncover the mystery invaders who deleted civilization during the Bronze Age collapse and discover the forensic proof of an apocalyptic reset that set humanity back thousands of years. Click the video on your screen, and I will see you there.